அப்பா அலை கதை சொல்றேனா?
ஓ சொல்றேனே.
राधे कृष्ण। पूज्य श्री श्री अम्मा की जय। महान ब्रह्म श्री श्री गोपालवल्ली दासर की जय। छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की जय। स्वामी समर्थ रामदास की जय। भारत माता की जय। शिवाजी महाराज won many forts and he won many great battles. After that he wanted to capture the area of Kalyan and Junnar, as these were very, very strategic locations. The main problem here was it was controlled by the Mughals, Emperor Shah Jahan. And Emperor Shah Jahan had deputed his son Aurangzeb to take care of these locations. And Aurangzeb was a visionary. Just like Sri Ram was in the path of good, and at the same time Ravan, who was the most powerful person at that time, but he was in the path of the wrong way. Similarly, more than the Adil Shahis, the Qutub Shahis, the Nizam Shahis, one person who was powerful than any other was Aurangzeb, and he was the one who controlled Kalyan and Junnar. But at that time Aurangzeb was not present in those locations. Shah Jahan was not keeping well, and Aurangzeb had several brothers. He knew that the moment Shah Jahan loses his life, the throne of the Mughal Empire will have to be fought for amongst his own brothers, and Aurangzeb was pure evil. So as soon as he heard that his father Shah Jahan was not well, he had immediately left for Delhi, Agra, where the Mughal Empire was located. Shivaji Maharaj knew this, and that's why he immediately took an army and looted Kalyan and Junnar. All the forts, all the villages in that location were taken over by Shivaji Maharaj. There was so much of riches and jewelry and wealth in Kalyan, and Shivaji Maharaj took all of that. The wealth in Kalyan was so much that it was 10 times more than all the other locations which Shivaji Maharaj had captured so far. And everything came to Shivaji Maharaj. And Shivaji Maharaj intelligently sent his Vakil to Aurangzeb in Delhi. The Vakil met Aurangzeb with folded hands. He was looking down, and he kept an extremely sorry face. And he told Aurangzeb that, "Oh Aurangzeb, we looted Kalyan and Junnar by mistake. We knew it belonged to you, but our army was already on its way, and they just captured Kalyan and Junnar. And Shivaji Maharaj is extremely sorry for that. And we will not repeat this mistake again. Shivaji Maharaj has asked for your forgiveness. And you are all merciful, so please forgive us." And that Vakil never spoke about returning back a single coin. All he asked was for forgiveness. Because Shivaji Maharaj knew that right now the mind state Aurangzeb is in, he is more concerned about occupying the throne of the Mughal Empire than concentrating on all these things. And Aurangzeb said, "Okay, don't repeat this mistake again." And the Vakil came back. And all the riches and all the wealth which Shivaji Maharaj had taken was kept with Shivaji Maharaj himself. But Aurangzeb was a visionary. Although he forgave Shivaji Maharaj at that point of time, he immediately sent a letter to Adil Shah. In that letter, he mentioned that Shivaji Maharaj is taking over and capturing all your forts. He is capturing your entire area of Deccan. Please win back all those forts. Please defeat Shivaji. Ensure that just like his father, Shahaji, who was sent to Karnataka, which is a plain land, you take Shivaji out of the Sahyadris at any cost. Do not keep him in those mountains and those forts in those jungles. He is a lion over there. Ensure that you defeat Shivaji Maharaj, capture him, and make him your employee. Send him to a flat land where there are no mountains. And you have to do this at any cost if you want to survive. When all this was happening, Shivaji Maharaj had gone to Mahabaleshwar. He had gone to visit the Shiva temple. And when he was visiting in that area, he saw a mountain. And he asked Moropant Pingle, who was his advisor. He asked Moropant Pingle that, Pant, among all these mountains, which is that mountain, which is so beautiful? Which is that? And Pant said, Maharaj, that is Bhorpyacha Dongar. Dongar means mountain. Bhorpya is that mountain's name. He said, that is Bhorpyacha Dongar. Looking at that mountain, Maharaj said, Pant, please ensure, and he said it in Marathi, that Pant, या भोरप्याच्या डोंगरावर पागोटा चढवा. Pagota means a crown. Maharaj said, on this mountain, please put a crown. And what he meant was, please construct a fort so strong, which will always ensure victory. Moropant Pingle immediately started work. And a strong fort was built over there. So strong in all areas, so strategic in its location, so beautiful, and it would always ensure victory to Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. That fort was named as Pratapgarh. Pratap means brave. During this time, Shivaji Maharaj increased his army. He knew that a king always needs to have all his bases covered. He cannot only have foot soldiers. He increased his army. He increased his cavalry. Cavalry means horses. He increased his base of elephants, because elephants, although slow, they will always ensure victory. Maharaj increased his wealth. He made his forts very strong, fortified, because in those days the Britishers had already entered India and they were selling cannons. Cannons which could throw huge bombs, which could hurt the forts. He ensured that his forts were built in such a way that even if cannons were fired, his forts will not suffer. Shivaji Maharaj knew for a futuristic purpose, Swaraj can only be maintained if he has good people, good leaders managing specific positions. So he started doing that. His horses' cavalry was managed by Netaji Palkar. His foot soldiers, his army was managed by Yesaji Kank. Annaji was appointed as Surnis. Raghunath Balkar was appointed as Sabnis. Balaji was Chetnis. And their middle brother was appointed as Fadnavis. Shyamji became Karkhanis. The best part was, every single person managing every single department was a fighter. Maharaj always selected people who were leaders in such a manner that once they go, they'll only win. They never knew what was losing, because they ensured that no matter what, they will ensure a victory. A simple example was, there was a person named as Nilopant in Shivaji Maharaj's army. Once Shivaji Maharaj told Nilopant that, Nilopant, now it is time for you to take up the books of accounts. What he meant was, you take rest. You live in the fort of Rajgarh and manage our accounts and our administration sitting here and the treasury. Nilopant laughed and he looked at Shivaji Maharaj in a very angry way. He was very upset. He said, Maharaj, this is not the time for me to sit and look at books of accounts. Please give me some work which I can do. What he actually meant was, when he said that please give me some work, he meant that please send me to some war, send me to Adil Shahi or Qutub Shahi or Nizam Shahi, so that I can win a war for you and come back. And do you know what his age was at that time? The age of Nilopanji was 77 years. Today, when people are 60, 65 years, they sit on a chair and they are not able to get up because their knees are weak. They say that my legs are paining, my hands are paining, I cannot get up. And Nilopant was 77 years old and he wanted to sit on a horse, hold a sword, hold a bow and arrow, go to a battle, win and come back. That was a sort of people whom Shivaji Maharaj had recruited, who were willing to give up their lives at any time, whenever Shivaji Maharaj wanted. At this time, Adilshahi kingdom was getting very impatient and they received the letter of Aurangzeb also. They were very scared. Ibrahim Adil Shah, who was the king, he was unwell and he died, leaving behind his teenage son Ali Adil Shah. Ali Adil Shah was too young to take over the reins of the kingdom, and that is why his mother Badi Begum, the chief wife of Ibrahim Adil Shah, she took over. She was also very smart. She was very scared not of Shivaji but more of for Shahaji, because Shahaji Maharaj had an army of 15,000 people. So she sent a letter to Shahaji Maharaj saying that your son is getting out of hand. Please talk to him and ensure that he returns away all our forts. Shahaji Maharaj was smarter because after all he was Shivaji Maharaj's father. He sent back a letter stating that my son doesn't listen to me. You do whatever you feel like. You are free. I cannot talk to him. And he closed the matter. Seeing this letter, Badi Begum became very tensed. She was very scared. Now what to do? And she held a special darbar of all her sardars. And that was, the agenda was how to kill Shivaji, not defeat. How to kill Shivaji Maharaj. And that became a big turning point. What happened in that darbar? We will see in the next episode. Radhe Krishna. Pujya Shri Shri Amma ki Jai. Mahan Brahma Shri Shri Gopalavalli Dasar ki Jai. Swami Samartha Ramadas ki Jai. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj ki Jai. Bharat Mata ki Jai. Radhe Krishna.